Okay, welcome to the Reinventing the Tattoo Community app broadcast thing. It's a lot of fun to do lots of webcasts. This is the Reinventing Drawing Group, Monday morning, usually hosted by Jake Meeks, but he's on his way to get tattooed. Um, Jason Lesser and Casey Hart are back here in the drawing rooms. If you are an artist and you want to beam in, you could download the Reinventing the Tattoo app, go to the events. It's like the first link, and then you'll see both. You could watch it, but if you're watching this, you're probably already watching it. But you also find the Zoom link. And if you're an artist drawing and you want to zoom in, the only catch is as you zoom in, you need to shut off the stream. Otherwise, we go into echo panic. And currently, this is beaming out and going to do some tests. This is a perfect time to let us know in the chat rooms, wherever you might be, if this is working for you, while I test to make sure this is going out. And we have our YouTubes seem to be working, which is great. Vimeo is working, and I imagine we'll see the Facebooks kind of roll in. So I'm going to share the screen real quick to show the schedule, and boom, here we are. So as you'll see, every Monday morning at 9 o'clock, there's an open drawing group, reinventing drawing groups. We do these also on Sundays at 1 o'clock, and they're pretty awesome. People from all around the world will beam in to draw and watch and listen to the conversations and whatnot. Every 9 o'clock on Monday, Eastern Standard Time, these are 9 p.m. Eastern, Guy Aitchison is doing subscriber exercises, and tonight's subscriber exercise is depth strategies, part 1, overlap. And if you pay the subscription fee for the Reinventing, not only do you get the awesome set of courses that are continuously being updated, and guys going through and updating them, pretty much as we speak. But also these Monday exercises where people beam in together. You get critiques straight from Guy and all the guests, etc. It's amazing. Let's see, other professional development, how to build a Paul Rogers style prefab tattoo machine with Tony Urbanix starts tomorrow, 10 a.m. And I believe the first one, you should tune in. The first one is going to be free. It's going to be mostly about safety and then the ingredients, and get to know a little bit about Tony. And then there will be 7 workshops where everyone builds these machines together. And it's designed for you to find all the scraps around your workshop. But again, if you want to, you can go check out the link. There's a package where you could get all the parts mailed to you. Let's see, Tuesday night at 9 o'clock is an art jam, painting jam. Hablos de arte con Bruno. Everyone will be speaking Spanish, except for me. But I will be drinking cervezas. So that's 9 o'clock. Everyone speaking Spanish. If you speak Spanish, check it out. There's going to be a pretty great set of artists beaming in. Wednesday, we have the History of Tattoo Conventions. Alex Van Dutch from World Tattoo Events is doing the interview, this time with Marco Leone, who is the first Italian tattoo convention promoter, I believe. Very exciting. We've got live in the Castro, Ace Vincenzo, Paley Adams, and Jen will be doing the interview. These are awesome. We have so many interviews. Tattoo Collecting Podcast. Again, the schedule could kind of go on. I could talk for minutes. Although we do have the Fantasy Art Jam coming up Sunday the 17th with Leo. He's an amazing painter. He's been studying with a lot of great masters and is wicked into fantasy, like realism fantasy. So check it out. And then, as always in this app, if you scroll down to the library, it's got all the sets of videos. Now we've got art history. This is a pretty amazing section with we're filling up, but the videos here has all of the different shows replays. So as you're getting overwhelmed with this flood, just know that you can always kind of go to the library, check out whichever shows, and then there's all the replays, which is pretty cool. So all of the free programming here at the Reinventing platform is care of our sponsors, and you should definitely be checking out the Inkjet Stencils section here. There's all sorts of videos and examples, and to make a long story short, you can basically manipulate your stencils digitally, and then I wonder how this is playing with this video here. It looks like it's going okay. Yeah, and then it'll print out the stencil. So he's got this oversized printer here, and I'll skip ahead, but you can see it's basically printing out like back pieces and shit. And definitely check out Andre's. Oh, that's him talking. Okay, so that's that's Donna from Inkjet Stencils. Check out Andre's Instagrams, Facebooks, social medias, all that stuff, and their sections in the Reinventing the Tattoo app, because it's pretty cool. Yeah, they're printing out back pieces and one piece and shit and sleeves, all that. At this point, I'm going to pop into the background. Again, we encourage anybody who wants to zoom in to go to the event section of the community. You can also go to community.reinventingthetattoo.com to create an account if you don't have an app or want to download the app, or either of the app stores. Last thing, as we're launching the app, it's a great time to, if you like it, review it, give it positive reviews. We want all of your critiques, but send that to us. Directly message it to us, please. And then, yeah, I'll pop in just to relay messages from the chat room. And thanks again, Jason and Casey, for showing off awesome art. I do have a browser pulled up so that if you want, I will be pulling up reference. Melissa Sink is joining. Hello, all. She'll be joining in soonish, but first grabbing some coffee.
Yeah, I can't blame you on that there.
Yeah. It is early for tatter time.
Yes, it is. I'm still debating on whether or not I should be going to sleep soon, or what's really going on. Actually, I do think I made it to sleep last night around 4:30, so I was up pretty late. It was not fun, but it's tattoo life. Getting drawings together for the week, taking care of like the little other stuff, staying up late doing laundry because, no one likes a smelly tattooer. Well,
nope.
I mean, I don't. I don't. Been tattooed by one or two of them. Not a big fan.
Yeah, not as fun.
Don't usually like to admit that, but it's the truth. I'm going to try something out here and just see how this goes. So let's just see how this goes. You're breaking up on me.
Is this the same one yesterday?
Yes.
Is this the same one from yesterday, Snake and Christine?
Yeah, I'm trying out a brush variation. So I was playing around with like brush settings a little bit more last night. Part of the reason why I was up until 4 whenever in the morning, dark 30 in other words, is because I was trying to learn as much as I could about the different brush settings and how you can really tweak and tune individual brushes to really fit your style and to serve a certain purpose. A lot of people know that if you click on it, cool, you have all of these different options like shape, grain, rendering, wet mix, like all of this other stuff that you can tweak and tune to get it to be just what you're looking for. What I wanted to do a deep dive into was, okay, as far as like pressure taper size, how is that going to affect it? What kind of settings do I need to adjust in order to get it to be exactly what I'm looking for? When you click on Apple Pencil, you have like all the sizes and all that stuff. I think I've got too much glare on there. Yeah, there we go. You've got your size, your pressure, and all that stuff. And it's like, okay, well, I know I wanted my size set so that it only changes a little bit with my hand pressure. But I then remembered that under taper, kind of like, when you're discussing tattoo needles, you can adjust the individual taper of that pin, right? So think of it like a virtual tattoo pin, right? Mm-hmm. This is what I think about at 4 o'clock in the morning, by the way, because I'm like, like literally, if you keep that, I mean, you've seen images like this on different boxes and whatnot. Mm-hmm. You're literally adjusting the taper of something that looks exactly like a tattoo pin. but it's okay. How much do I want to have it taper?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'm going to change that there. I'll do that with hand pressure. And the reason why is because I keep going back and I keep seeing different, well, I'll just pull this up. Keep seeing chrysanthemum petals that that look almost more like teardrops. So
Mm-hmm.
they'll start out and they'll just have a very, very small kind of gradient, right? And then they'll flow down into different things. You never want to give them a perfectly like smooth kind of inner petal area. And then I was looking around and I've got some individual references that I've been looking at for like, okay, how does this person who's really good at drawing chrysanthemums draw them?
Mm-hmm.
And I bring this up a lot in my Monday morning sessions, but I had the privilege of getting tattooed by a buddy of mine named Fibs. And Fibs during quarantine actually put out, let's see if we can get rid of that. It's called The Yellow Book, which was available on his Instagram. I had him, like personalize it for me and even drew some waves in there and stuff. So that was pretty cool. But he
said the
is, yeah, that's what he calls it. It's basically a collection of everything he's done over the past 3 years, as far as like tattoos. He's got stencils in here, his whole drawing process from like his red outline sketches to
Oh, hold on. Sorry, I'm
layouts.
sharing the screen here real quick.
Oh, there you go.
No, go back to your show off here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So like, this is just a quick, I'll move this out of the way for a minute. So just a quick flip through, like, I mean, when you talk about like the chrysanthemum king, this guy knows his mums.
Yeah. Yeah, look at those.
Word. Boom, boom, shh. Be here all week, folks. But to individual like layouts and designs and stuff. And it is 2 pages. I'm just kind of zoomed in on one. But he's got all kinds of stuff. I don't know how many more he's got for sale, but definitely worth the investment if you're into this style of tattoo. Totally worth every penny. Just from
Absolutely.
the inspiration. So like stencils and what his process is like is pretty enlightening. He's been doing a lot more freehand stuff with minimal stencils. These are just some finished tattoos that he's done that made it into his book. Apparently, the one he did on me didn't, but that's okay. He said it's probably going to be in volume 2 if and or when he ever puts that out. I think. We'll see. Otherwise, I just got to go back and get another tattoo from him. So,
of course, put it in the book.
Exactly. I'm like,
get a bigger
this
one.
This better be book worthy. Well, bigger one. The one he did on me takes up almost my entire right side. What are you talking about? Bigger. I'm only so tall. But yeah, this is the Yellow Book by Fibs.
Sorry, I just there you go.
Yeah.
I wrote it down.
He's currently based out of San Diego. He used to travel all the time. Like seriously, getting an appointment with him was difficult because he's hopscotching back and forth across Europe. And okay, well, when are you going to be back in the States so I can book another appointment? And we're not talking small appointments here either. We're talking some pretty decent sized tattoo appointments.
Plus, like most
4
of
to
his
6 hours at a shot on my ribs.
Yeah.
So
scale pieces there.
Yeah, my riblets were
riblets. Kelsey's riblets were hurting.
So I found like 1 or 2 of his that I really try to look at, and really try to go based off of, just as far as like shape, how do they flow, how is he getting them to work with the body, and so I found 1 or 2 that I really like, and I'm not really looking at his finished drawings. I'll show you the image I'm actually looking at is this one, which is a pretty rough sketch, right? And whenever I have the option to, I always prefer to look at rough sketches over, say, a finished tattoo or a finished drawing, because you see more of the process of what goes into.
I actually agree because finished tattoos, they just look nice, clean coloring book,
Right.
And I like to see the thought process. I want to get into that person's brain because I can understand their brain better when I see their preliminaries. I see what happened first, second, and third, because they sketch so much, so many layers on top of each other. So I actually agree with that for myself.
Yeah, it just gives you a bigger insight. And then I'm like, wait a second, I have another book filled with mums as well. Let's look at that one. Because I have like a literal library of like different art books and sketchbooks from different artists. This one that I also pulled up is from an
We're
artist
looking at
named.
we're looking at Casey's work right now.
Oh, absolutely. Casey's got some of the
okay.
cleanest stuff I've ever seen.
You're up now.
But this is João Bosco, Skulls, Snakes, and the Flower of Death, which, in case you didn't know, the Flower of Death is a chrysanthemum. So it's pretty dark and gothic and metal. But
I like
he
it.
does, this is a beautifully made book. It's hardbound. It's got beautiful illustrations in it. He put some love into this book. And it's like, okay, cool. Well, I'm drawing a snake and a mum, so this one will work,
Yeah.
Could I go through and trace it? But yeah, but what's the sense in that? Sorry for cutting you off, Case.
Oh no, I just like that. Even the little sea in the beginning of that one page, he had like a chrysanthemum crawling out of the sea, and that had to be kind of challenging. It was just really cool looking. That one right there, I think. Yeah, that one.
Look at yeah.
So cool. Well, the challenge, the chrysanthemums is getting them in a uniform direction, but then still having a few that look like they're a little bit rogue and kind of doing their own thing. And that's my challenge with them. Is mine always look so want them to do examples that but they look correct. They don't look like broken.
Right. Yeah, we were losing you there again for a second, but it's totally cool. I don't know if we have anyone making any comments or whatnot today. I only have like one or two.
There's a couple people on one of the Facebooks here. We've got Joe RG said, they said no, I have no idea what that means. Shalaya Gopal says, superb, thumbs up, okay symbol.
Cool.
Jacques de Molloy said, absolutely. I don't know, whatever. Get some weird comments on the Facebook. There was a Black Lives Matter post that went through, which I'm in full support of, so I don't mind. But Fibs obviously cares about it to put it up, and it's worth it for him. I don't mind if anybody doesn't like it, then they don't have to like it.
Right. Yeah, there was someone making a comment the other day about we're open all the time, screw, kind of studio bands and all that stuff. And it's like, listen, people are just trying to be safe right now. And I'm in full support of that. I have family members that are so ultra high risk. They were told that, if you get sick, you're not going to be put on a ventilator and you will probably die. So
yeah,
I'm trying to be very careful. Like if I get sick, whatever. Cool. I'm going to get sick. I'm going to cough a little bit, whatever. Yeah, that's like the tip of the iceberg. And I understand that, but I'm still in that early 20s mindset where I think I'm indestructible. Casey's seen me at conventions. I'm raging. I'm in love with life, but I know that there are people around me that I care about that really have to think about that. So it's something I try to constantly be aware of. So no matter what your stance is on everything going on, more power to you. Everyone finds their own happiness and has their own philosophy in life. And I could not be happier for you if you have found your happiness. Me, I'm just trying to master chrysanthemums. That's my happiness. That's all I got.
One goal.
It's like
true.
if I can master one thing, it's flowers. That's what I've been working really hard
Same.
towards for a few years.
Me
And
too.
I
Me too.
absolutely love drawing too. It's kind of crazy. People walk into my studio setup and my station, like my little art area at the studio I'm at, and they're like, "Wow, you like flowers?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's
Yes.
weird. I got a thing for them. I don't know." That you can just they're such versatile subject matter that they can work with any part of the body in any direction. You can have them look masculine, you can have them look feminine, you can have them look dead and wilting or bright and alive. You know, they're just an ultra, how can I say this? Um ultra flexible and ultra versatile subject matter. So I try to
Mm-hmm.
draw as many flowers a day as I can. But
Yep.
right now, it's all about the mom. And I think I found the perfect mom petal. So,
Ever.
not seriously,
That's
like,
definitely.
check it out. It's boom. There's a mom petal. And it already gives
Casey,
me
can you
that
point the camera
natural
down so we can see what you're working on?
Sure. Let me see if I can turn my layer up a little higher so you guys can actually see it on a screen. I was just sketching this.
Yeah, like usually somewhere around 50% is actually good because sometimes if it gets too bright, it's hard. But you know better than I do, or as good as I do.
There we go. Let's see what I can do here. And move my hand. Bam, bam, bam. Just like a little
cool.
birdie guy with some flowers, of course. Just a little birdie friend. It's not even for anything specific. I just started sketching it last night. You guys got me so inspired yesterday that I actually got up and drew for fun. So
Nice.
and
Who's inspiring you? Not me, hopefully.
yeah, all you. Because normally my time is spent drawing for clients, and then I'm so exhausted from drawing for clients. I don't draw very often just for the fun of it, or even offer up a lot of designs unless there's a cancellation. So just drawing pretty stuff. That's what I do.
Sweet, looks great. We definitely got to get your setup so that we could see you as you're drawing it normally. Get like you said you had some stuff coming in the mail, or
from Amazon. Jason recommended a couple of things. So probably for next week I should be all nice and set up. And
it's not going to be quite as bougie as my setup, but it'll work well.
We're over here with an iPhone that I have to hold. But you can kind of see, it's a little bright, but
I mean, hey, if it works, it works.
It works. It's working. I am very newbie to all of these things here.
Well, thank you very much. It's awesome to. That looks great. Like I said, mostly it'll be fun when we get to check out the birds being made as they're being made.
And then I may even turn the one yesterday if I get it finished and I turn it to a print or something. That could be kind of fun.
Yeah.
Love to tattoo
Absolutely.
it. Yeah.
So let's see. So Alexis Damiano Blair says it looks good. Hi from New York. Andrew Santos says hi.
Hello. Welcome, guys. Thanks for popping in to take a watch today. Much appreciated.
Yeah, much appreciated.
Yeah, feel free to feel free to send us chats. Let us know where you're coming in from too. I always like to see who's watching and when and what's going on and where. And as I mentioned in the Sunday afternoon drawing groups, if anyone ever has any questions about anything, let me know. I'm more than happy to talk shop and talk whatever.
Yeah, we might end up making a little clip where we send people to do impromptu consultate, Q&A, not quite consultations, but like there's a lot of Q&A that you could clearly do. I mean, obviously you could do full consultations, but having people beam in with their questions.
Absolutely.
Hey, Patrick, how goes it? So Patrick's beaming in from Wales still. I'm presuming you're not traveling much either. Everyone's getting locked down, huh?
Yep, no, we are not allowed to leave the house other than for exercise and shopping.
Wow.
So, yeah, that's pretty Yeah, it's pretty severe, I suppose.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
that's. I mean, it
Well,
makes sense, but
I mean, it's science, right? Like trying to do it half-assedly is just doesn't make like over here we're not on lockdown. We're like go home, get your family sick, like and go out, to do whatever. If you hopefully wear a mat. Like it's
Right.
scientifically, it's. I mean, I guess it makes it easy to just figure out whatever it is that the goals are and work it backwards from there. Clearly, it hasn't been a goal to fix this. But that's where it's frustrating when people are like, criticizing the methods to fix it and then also criticizing the fact that we're all still locked down and shit. It's like, wait, you actually can't have it both ways where you're like
Mhm.
denying the science of how this shit works and wanting to get back to work. Like we have to. Anyways, Melissa's also beaming in from Oregon, wicked early over there.
ow.
Good
Hey,
morning.
Melissa.
Good morning, guys. That's why I needed coffee first.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm still working on mine as well.
Cool. So let's see. So we've got Danielle Tomlin asks, what advice would you give someone just starting to dabbling into tattooing from Plant City, Florida? And a heart.
Well, I think we brought this up a little bit yesterday, but depending on which tattoo god you need to make sacrifices to,
First.
because some are vegan, some are vegan. So for vegans, I'm not sure which plant you would need to sacrifice, but if you find one that's not, who knows? Maybe a goat. Okay. Maybe you have a really annoying house cat like I do. Yeah, I'm talking about you.
Yeah, I'm talking
I'll
about
turn you into a hat.
or a lamp.
I wouldn't ever. I love her.
But for on a somewhat serious note, for better or worse, the sacrifice part is unique for everyone, eh?
Hey.
Very
And
true. Very true.
that's the almost not the beauty of it, but like it's when you achieve it and you're able to do whatever you want to, then all of your stress points will get stress tested at the same time. And yeah, so but as far as the sacrifice is concerned, like it's one of the things I'm putting in my I put in my seminars. It's like I don't know what it is going to be for you to sacrifice. It's either your family time or your money or your play or who the fuck knows, your identity or your ability. Who knows, your friends, family. But ultimately, you just need to make sure that everything's in sync to be healthy. And I suppose ultimately to that, just to wrap for me to wrap the sacrifice up into that question is work on being healthy because because tattooing again allows you to be everything you want to be, negativity and positivity. I'll make sure it's all positive. Eh?
Yeah, that and don't be afraid to ask questions. Seek advice from as many different places as you possibly can. I did a bit of traveling a few years ago and started to really hit the convention circuit hard in a couple of different spots. Was traveling overseas a lot to go to Europe, once or twice a year. But I would always coordinate my travel with attending a different tattoo show, right? So one year I wanted to go and take a vacation in Rome. Well, I figured out when the Rome Tattoo Convention was, and I went over there and on my little week-long vacation, I went through and went to the Rome Tattoo Show where I met a really good friend of mine who to this day, and he's an incredible tattooer. I went to London once or twice. I went to Paris to go to the Paris show. I went to Dublin. I've done a bit of traveling and everyone's got a different take. And I'm a firm believer that there are no two tattooers in the world that tattoo exactly the same. Everyone's got a little bit of a different process or a little bit of a different method in how they go about doing things. Everything down to their technique, their setup, their drawing method, their process. Everyone's got a little bit of something different. And the more information you can gather about what you're trying to achieve, the better off you will be. And I know that seems like a very blanket response and a very generalized kind of like almost like a cop out, but it's the 100% truth. The more you go through and the more information you gather, the more information you collect, the more tools you'll have in your toolbox. I used to
Mhm.
work with a guy named Dennis that, you know, phenomenal artist. Guy went to, you know, really, really nice, prestigious art school, super talented. He could sit down and bang stuff out faster than you can realize. Just ultra talented artist. And I was talking to him one day about working digitally versus working analog. You know, he still to this day does everything analog he possibly can,
Bless his
from
heart.
his stencils, his hand drawn stencils, to his line drawings, his sketching, his painting, everything. He still prefers to work analog. More power to him. I've adopted a digital media, you know, kind of technique, and that is personally what I find myself drawn to. Not for any other reason other
Mhm.
than I just find that what I can achieve and how quickly I can go back through and make revisions is worth it in the end. But what he said to me the one day
Yeah, it's
really
extreme.
resonated. And it was, you know, it's just another tool in your toolbox. If you don't know how to draw to begin with, it's not going to matter what you're drawing on, you still can't draw. So it's the same
Correct.
base principle that he expanded on. So collect as many tools as you can. You never know when that one tiny little trick or that one tiny little tip might come in handy and might make a world of difference for your process. So
Yeah, you're already in the
my
right.
2 cents.
Yeah, I would say if you're already kind of in here and asking questions, you're already taking the great first steps of learning more and gaining more knowledge. Because even just yesterday was my first time on here, and Jason's little trick on how to draw chrysanthemum was already blown my mind. And I'm like playing with it yesterday.
Not
I'm
my
like,
trick.
makes
Not my trick. I did not invent that trick. I give all credit to Wes Holland from Ink and Dagger.
Yeah.
I learned it from him. I don't know where he learned it from, but I don't know if he invented it. He could have.
right.
I don't know. But
Entirely
I've
the
been
I mean,
using it ever since, and it's awesome.
Yep.
That and get tattooed.
Get
Find your
tattooed.
favorite tattooers out there, and get tattooed by them. Learn their process. Doesn't matter if you got to fly to Taiwan, or if you got to fly to Hungary or the Czech Republic, or, you know, fly to Moscow and go through the whole process of getting a visa to go to Moscow. Find your favorite tattooer in the world. Do your homework. Find your favorite artist ever and go and get tattooed by them as many times as you can.
Mhm.
That's
Teryansky
what
is
I've
one of my
been doing.
favorite Russians.
Oh,
I'm gonna fire up
yes.
his Instagram right now. But maybe in the chat room, if people want to let us know who their favorite tattooers and artists are, sometimes we'll bring them up here. A couple other comments here. Teresa says, "I'm just passing through. Good morning from Northern California. Must be early there too. Have a great day as well. Stay well."
Good morning.
Danielle Tomlin asked if y'all have a podcast, and we do actually put some of this out via the Tattoo Now podcast, and there is going to be an official Reinventing the Tattoo podcast. That's a pretty fun name, huh?
Right.
I have everything just about set up. We just it'll probably take another a week or two to get up. But if you do a search for Reinventing the Tattoo podcast every once in a while, for all the replays, we'll be there. Let's see. Darren says, "Hi from Dazzle Inc. From the UK."
Hello.
Salem says hi. Okay, I think I've got one more person who was asking for a shout out. They said Ink Boss Tattoo. So John Niels watching from Ink Boss Tattoo on the Tattoo Education Facebook. Yeah. Cool.
Awesome.
So looks like Melissa, you back on the? You're back.
Yeah, I'm back.
Awesome. What are you? Oh, okay. I see you're working on a tattoo.
Yeah, it's a continuation. The end of the month I'm working on. I do a lot of different stuff. This one specifically Polynesian Cherokee mashup.
Cool.
Wow. This is super cool.
Did you see the interview we had with Hana Mantra?
I did. It was really good.
Yeah, it was fun. He's great. I love that guy.
Sorry
It's
about that,
Patrick.
guys. I was just grabbing another bite of my breakfast.
No worries. So, Patrick, it looks like you're working on some chrysanthemums too, eh?
Yeah. As Jason said, it's the what's it called? Wes Holland from Ink and Dagger. I found his what's it called? The tutorial on the Tattoo Smart YouTube channel. So he sort of went through the process on that. Except I was watching it last night. I know you got like 45 minutes in, and then had to, couldn't finish it off. So I'm just guessing what the next stages would be. But as it is now, we've got where's the stage? Oh no, yeah. So yeah, just that's without the background, without the sort of construction. And then the construction started off with just that, which is like a sphere. And then you add your sort of various layers. But yeah, it's I think the total length of that tutorial is like 2 hours. And it's on the, as I said, YouTube Tattoo Smart.
It was a long one.
Yeah, they've got a whole run of them. They just did BJ Betts was on for a bit, and yeah, Russ has got a good set of people going on there.
Yeah, I mean the quality of everything that that he turns his hand to is like really good. I watched the he does one on the Tattoo Smart website itself. That's his explanation of the color wheel. I think it was filmed in like 2016, 2017. And here I am, like 4 years later, only like now, sort of watching it, thinking, Gordon Bennett, I should have watched that a while ago.
Yeah, the Abbott color wheel is unbelievably helpful if you've ever struggled with color theory, or you wanted to take a look at your balance in colors and say, okay, how can I make this tattoo have more of an impact just when changing up your color, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that I really like about it is that it corresponds it with current tattoo pigment companies, which was like revolutionary, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because he went through and he had this idea where it's like, okay, that's great, but where are these colors on the color wheel? Because no one really knew. It's like, okay, well, you have like a brick red, or maybe this is like a teal, but this company makes this teal and this company makes this teal. Where do they actually sit on the color wheel as far as hue and chroma go? And those are two very big factors that can change the way that any given color looks. So I think it was an absolutely genius idea. I remember when he first started doing like videos and tutorials and things on he did one, I forget what it was streamed through, but he did one using Clip Studio, and it was the first one he ever did, and I just remember sitting down and watching that, being totally absorbed in it. And it was absolutely fascinating with what he was developing, what he was creating, and how he was doing it. And it was just completely mind-blowing. And then ever since then, it's like, okay, well, when's he going to put out another one? When's he going to put out another one?
Yeah. I mean, it's the Tattoo Smart just I mean, he reckoned, he'd say something like it's once a week they're putting out stuff, and it is hard to thought. I mean, I don't think anyone's necessarily expected to keep up, but the amount of things in there is absolutely phenomenal, and the quality of it as well is all really good. I mean, you can buy brush sets from other places, but you know, the quality, you know, that when you get something off Tattoo Smart, the quality of it is going to be very good indeed.
Yeah, I can't tell you how much money I have spent on that website. I can't. I lost track.
Yeah.
So just to give you an idea of the number of brush sets I have from them, and I have no idea how in focus this is, by the way. I can literally just
Wow.
keep going.
Holy crap. You have so many.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I have just about every one they've put out.
Okay.
I have some favorites, obviously, and some that are useful for everyday use. Like I love the Protoplast set, where it will give you different, you know, body layouts and
I love that one. Yep.
designs and styles. Absolutely love that. You know, if you work in a street shop, you know, maybe you'll want to pick up Watches and Compass, or, you know, Street Shop Part 1 or 2. Roses and Leaves is always nice. Nature Elements is good if you do a lot more nature scenes. Lately, I've been finding myself gravitating towards the spit shading set, and then the Nouveau or adornments. These are amazing. Absolutely incredible. I was looking at the ornamental set. I have that as well. That's got some pretty cool stuff. I don't know if it was maybe the iPad I was working on or the way I had my canvas set up before, but when I tried it, they just seemed like super crazy, ultra tiny, like very, very thin lines, almost to the point that it was like, okay, that's weird. Henna
I think I know what you mean.
Yeah. It's just, it's almost oddly thin.
Yeah.
With like,
There's certain stencil machines you wouldn't really want to put that through that first time without beefing it up a bit.
Exactly. And it's like, okay, well, I mean, don't get me wrong. I have a way to do that in Photoshop, you know, in 3 clicks, but in Procreate, it's a little bit different. So it's interesting. But I really like the henna design set as well, which gives you all types of repeating patterns and elements you can put into different types of, you know, designs.
Which one's that, Jason?
The henna set.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So where is my appointments folder? I actually finished drawing this up for my friend Kayla. This is going to be a lower arm half sleeve, you know, and this was all done using Procreate brush sets.
Oh, awesome.
So, I mean, I tweaked a stipple brush a little bit just to get that, that kind of like super fine stipple shading in there. But yeah, this is Tattoo Smart. This is what can be done using a mix between a couple of different brush sets. No, I'm not trying to give that away too much. She's looking forward to it. I've done a few other renditions of it, but that was my favorite one. I think we're going to do a color accent in it too. You know, maybe like a nice teal, or, you know, maybe a Southwest blue, which I've been absolutely in love with from Eternal.
Okay, so we've got some more comments here. Rick Michelson says, good morning from New York. Lauren says, hi from Wisconsin. Great conversation today. I think they're either in the app or maybe on the website. Let's see. Oh, one more.
Yeah, I think that's my one of the biggest challenges to doing a drawing session like this, is trying to keep up with, you know, the 4 different YouTube channels, the 6 different Facebook pages, the in-app chat panel, the in Zoom chat panel, as well as, you know, all of the other different ways that people can reach out and communicate. So if we don't get to your question, or if we don't respond to you, either A, it's because we don't like you, which isn't the case. Or
B, that's never the case. Come on now.
Exactly. And that's why I said that's never the case. We like everyone here. but it's probably because we're not looking at that individual chat box at that time.
Well, I mean, I hit them all pretty much, or whoever's hosting on this end should be hitting them. I mean, if we don't get to them, then sometimes we either already have. There's a lot of questions that we hit in the archives, but you know, for the most part, we do our best. But you might miss them, but we don't.
Yeah,
miss them.
I was gonna say I only have like 2 up. I've got the tattoos.com Facebook and the TattooNOW TV YouTube. So, I mean, that's all I really have up right now. So if you are asking a question or you're beaming in from somewhere and you're trying to get a hold of us, you know, send a chat in, but that's all I really have up right now. So it's kind of hard for me to see that and reply right away.
Well, I've got them all up here. So let's see. So P. Painville says tattoos have gone digital. And may I
Yes,
ask, how do you guys treat your eyes with that much screen time?
Ooh.
I
Not
take
well.
breaks a lot. And naps. I try to nap as often as possible. But that's more so just because I love napping.
Me too.
Not
Correct.
necessarily any other reason. But I try to focus on different things. Yes, it is a lot of screen time. I actually have a matte screen protector on mine, so it does help dull it down a little bit. But I'm constantly looking around the room, partly because of ADD, partly because of, you know, my tat mostly. But always try to distance your eyes. So, you know, I might be drawing for 30 minutes and then I'll look up and I'll look around and try to focus on something in either the middle ground or the far sight to really try to stretch my eyes. That way they don't get, you know, super crazy bad, which is, I mean, let's be honest here. It's a problem that plagues tattooers. You know, when you're tattooing so close to your face for so long, it's gonna have a strain on your eyesight. Different people have come up with different ways to counteract that, and they're phenomenal. But I've always found that just by taking a break and just looking up, and even looking at the other end of a room can just help your eyes to relax a little bit more, so that way you're not really incurring the same amount of eye strain.
Well, even as I've gotten older in tattooing too, the eye fatigue is real. I used to be able to tattoo for hours and hours straight looking down, and now I have to probably at least sit up, look around for a minute or two, and kind of bend my back backwards and look around for a few minutes, and every half hour look back down. And then the finer I've gotten, the more focused I've had to be. So I've just had to take a lot more, even if it's not a physical get up break. It's definitely like you said, looking across the room and kind of chatting with some people, because we have an open floor layout.
Okay.
So even if it's a minute of just kind of sitting back and seeing what everybody else is doing, or getting up and chatting a little bit, definitely helps your eyes, your back, your hands, because it's a very, very physical job on all fronts. And it's not easy as I'm getting older. I can't even imagine tattooing like 20 years, 25 years. Like, bless everyone that are doing it that long. Bless your heart, because that's the goal for sure. Trying to keep my body prepared.
I would also invest in some ergonomics, you know. For
Absolutely.
years, I've known tattooers that have been plagued by back problems.
Oh yeah.
Part of the reason why is poor posture. They're constantly bending over, mostly because they're super tall. I don't have that problem. I'm not even considered, you know, average height by any means. I'm actually a very, very short guy, so I can't say I've ever experienced that. But I do know that a lot of my taller tattoo friends, they're always saying like, "Oh man, I got to do something with my back," and it's like, try adjusting your ergonomics. You know, find this. I sit on a saddle stool, and everyone always makes fun of me for it. I love it. I absolutely love it.
I've heard good things.
They keep you sitting in such a more natural position that it takes a little bit of getting used to, but it does wonders for your back. It really does.
I've heard good things, and I've done it once or twice.
Yeah, I found a cheap one on Amazon, picked that up, and I've been sold ever since. In fact, I don't know how well you can see it. But over there at my drawing table, I actually have another one that I still need to get
Oh, I
new
see it. Yep.
casters
Very-
for, but absolutely swear by saddle stools. Absolutely swear by them. Pat Soul's got one out that's got that same kind of like effect where it's got, you know, almost like a little partition in the middle of the legs so that as you're leaning forward, it's going to shift your hips and your back to force you to have a little bit straighter of a back posture.
Yeah.
Some people love them. Some people hate them. Me, I, it's to the point that like I'll buy a new one and bring it with me to different shows just to sit on it at a convention.
Yeah.
Not because I'm opposed to sitting in, you know, a folding chair or, you know, a rolling dental stool or whatever they're called, but just to save my back alone. That's
Yep.
what I prefer to tattoo on. And I have never woken up in the morning and said, oh man, that's stiff. So it is, it's definitely something that I would invest in is ergonomics.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
going to
they
save
also
you
have
the
like the
world.
surgeon stools. I've seen a fair amount of people use, and Adrian Lee does a lot of standing tattooing. So he's got
Yep.
you know, he rises up the massage tables, and especially when he's trying to do all the crazy stuff. But a lot of looking to like surgeons tools, and now they're becoming affordable. 10 years ago, it was like, you know, $800, $900 to get a surgeon stool that had appropriate. You know, they have those ones that have the little rolly. So it's like the stools there, but they have like the rolly bars, but they're weighted right, so you can lean on them. You know, and they're basically designed so that surgeons can lean over people for, you know, hours at a time, while being precise. And it's pretty cool. It's like taking care of that stuff now before it starts to hurt is, it's not imperative. Obviously, a lot of people don't do it, but it's one of those places where nature really does reward people that are thinking ahead.
Yep.
Because I got to, you know, when you start exercising or stretching at 40, fucking after shit starts hurting, that's like, you know, it's
Yeah.
not the worst time to start because there is no worst time to start, but it's definitely not the best time. The best time to start is right now. We
Yep.
should all go stretch after this.
Yes. So I actually do that every morning. I get up and do yoga every morning. And then I get a 90-minute deep tissue massage every 3 weeks. And then I
Yeah, that's great.
acupuncture every 4 months. I do acupuncture. And then with the acupuncture, they actually do the cupping too, which I really think helps tremendously. It looks very invasive and it looks very serious when you ever see the red circles on people's backs, everything.
Mhm. Oh, yeah.
They do that in upper shoulders, and it looks like someone beat the hell out of me, and people get very concerned. They're like, "Are you okay? Did someone hit you?" I'm like, "Totally fine." But I definitely invest a lot of time into getting massages, acupuncture, and cupping. I want to do this very young. I started very young, and I want to be sure I can do this for a long time. And I book myself that way too. I don't book every minute of my day. I try to take one large project a day or two smallerish size pieces, and I do that 4 times a week and draw on my 5th day of the work day, or, you know, the work week, so that I can try to pace myself and keep it comfortable for years and years. And I'm doing it that way about 3 years now, and I feel like it's already prolonged my pain. But I did have a hip injury from tattooing, which I never expected. You'd think it's going to be your hands, your neck, your back. But I like turned real quick when I went to dip for ink, and something pinged in my hip. Go to the doctor, and I had 2 hairs in an IT band. And they said from here to here, doing this repetitively, they see that in baseball players. They see that in people that are like dentists and stuff, because they do a similar motion. So I have to take it easy on my hip now. So basically, I've been bringing my station closer and closer to my client. I'm getting one of those little trays. So I'm trying to keep that distance as short as possible, instead of from like here all the way to here, all the way to here. I'm trying to keep it only a few inches if I can. Like, here's the skin, here's the ink, here's the skin, here's the ink.
You know,
do that, but
all of those optimizations, you know, when I'm getting tattooed by a guy, you know, depending on where it is, he'll often, you know, drop down the ink right there on the skin, and so
I've
he's not
done-
even going back to the ink well. He's just picking it up, moving it until there's, you know, again, the fewer extraneous movements possible, right? And if you can figure out how to balance it. So let's see, Casey, I actually have a question for you. How long does it remove the pain for?
So I would say the massage is definitely my more routine. I need to do that more often. So I would say that for a really solid week, I'm not feeling much. I'm actually feeling what I would call normal, or how normal people feel. So I'd say a really good deep tissue massage would set me for about a week. And then the acupuncture and cupping definitely just kind of enhances how long I can go without a massage more so. But I still do it anyway because it feels great. But the cupping, I would say removes the pain fastest. Like that is immediate. You walk out feeling like you can do anything. That one definitely removes blood to the surface of the skin basically. And then it just relieves all this tension and, you know, inflammation in different areas. So I would definitely say at least a week for massage, and with acupuncture and cupping, it's definitely a few weeks that I'm feeling really good.
And along the same lines, Darren's asking, have any of you tried the lay on the floor arch support?
Yes. My boss has one. He's brought it to work a couple times, and I've laid on it, and it feels very relieving very, very quickly. So I want to get one of those for myself, actually. That would definitely be on my list of things to buy because it was really nice.
Cool. It is definitely worth noting that we have a call with Derb at some point this week to talk about him bringing his health seminars into the reinventing curriculum here, or into a stream or some such. He's got a pretty good story about his wallet. He used to have his wallet in his back pocket, and that was kind of what ended up pinching his nerve after, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 years.
Wow.
But it's definitely good. I like doing his seminar, or I've seen his seminar a couple times in the different events. So let's see, we also have Marion, I think, says, I see none of the chats, although you're in one of them on the YouTube. There's also a bunch of like Facebook streams, etc. But the question is from Marion, do you think it's useful for learning stages to go digital? Do you think it is useful for learning stages to go digital?
Learning.
Ooh, good question. So yes and no. I think you can go either way with it. You know, it's another tool in your toolbox. It's another resource that you have that you can utilize to achieve a specific outcome, right? So so as far as like, in my personal opinion, you know, not that I'm a professional, you know, educator or anything like that, but as far as what I know of learning stages, it's good, but it doesn't necessarily matter where you start with that, as long as you start with your basics, you know, your fundamental base shapes. You know, going through, you can get a Procreate brush that'll create everything from, you know, the outline of the body of this snake. You know, so that's just a Procreate brush. But if I needed to, I could sit down and draw all of this by hand without a hesitation, without Procreate. You know, so I'm a huge fan and a huge advocate of learning analog, as well as digital. I primarily work digitally now, which I find just to be very, very helpful. But it's no real different than if I was to go through and say, start drawing chrysanthemums by hand, which I have sketchbooks and sketchbooks and sketchbooks of just roses and peonies and chrysanthemums and snakes and dragon heads and dragon claws, and, you know, just sketching and sketching and sketching and sketching to get and then I'll find a new inspiration, and then I'll keep sketching and sketching and trying to make it look a little bit different, and trying to really develop. It's part of the reason for why the past few months, if you look at any of the replays of these Monday morning drawing sessions or the Sunday afternoon drawing sessions, I can almost guarantee you that in just about every single one of them, I'm working on a chrysanthemum. And
Yeah.
part of the reason why is because I'm trying to increase my proficiency with it. And so it comes from repetition, right? They say it takes 10,000 hours to master anything. And if you're going based on that, then I don't have 10,000 hours worth of drawing chrysanthemums in yet.
Yeah.
So I need to do that more. And it doesn't matter if I'm sitting in an airport and my iPad's dead, I'm going to grab a pen or a pencil. I'm going to
Yeah.
sketch them by hand. Some of the best tattooers I've ever seen will literally sit down and you won't see them break out an iPad.
Yeah.
They're going to sit down with a sketchbook and a pencil, and they're going to sit down and sketch everything by hand, and they've got a very unique way of doing it. It's something I think I've brought up in one or two of the past episodes. I had the privilege of working down at the Puerto Rico tattoo show and being surrounded by some of, in my opinion, just living legends of the tattoo world, right? Calais Corson was there, James Tex was there, Dave Tevenall was there, Phibbs was there. Oh man, everyone was there, and I was so intimidated. But we were all kind of gathered around Dave Tevenall's booth as he was working on this Merker drawing that I ended up actually buying off of him at the end of that show. And just everyone was just gathered around watching him work by hand and what he was using, how he was creating these different effects. And Dave does a lot of digital work as well. He's got a huge digital portfolio. But watching him work by hand was just a religious experience.
Oh, I'm sure. It's like watching Gordon Ramsay cook,
Exactly. And it's like, okay, well, now we're going to throw you a curveball. We're out of this spice, Gordon. Come up with something.
And
And watching him improv on the fly was just mind blowing. So to get back to your question, do I think it's useful for learning stages? It can be, but it all depends on whether or not someone has their fundamentals already.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with that. That digital was my last tool. This is my most recent tool. So I've been drawing on paper forever and ever. And then everyone was ranting and raving about the iPad and the convenience of it for our job, basically. To make changes, to make adjustments, to flip something because somebody changed a placement, to, they see a certain leaf or a flower or something. They're like, I love that. Can you make that flower bigger? All I have to do is select that flower and make it bigger. And it's like, yes, thank you. Because a few years ago, we would have to redraw the entire thing just to make that one flower bigger. So I would say I use it more of a convenience factor than a learning skill, because I do believe foundations are there. I believe that whatever you do on this, you should be able to at least have a foundation on paper for. Because I don't use digital drawing to do anything really fancy, like photoshopping or people that are such great digital artists. That is not even near my level. My level is so basic that, like Jason said, whatever I'm drawing on here, I can definitely do,
Oh, let me feature you. Hold on. Keep it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
So if you told me, okay, we got to put this on paper now, I'd be like, okay, cool, sounds good. But I can do it much faster, right here. I can put all these shading factors and play with different brush sets and everything. So I definitely can pull this off on paper as well. And it's probably where I would pull it off better, honestly. I think
It's cool.
I have a very art school background, I would say. So I went to school. I have my bachelor's in art, and it definitely, I was actually tattooing at the same time as doing my bachelor's, and it was really cool to have both of them at the same time, because tattooing taught me to draw faster and more efficiently, very accurately, very quickly. And it translated into my work in school too, which was really, really great. But I couldn't even imagine going to school now and having them put an iPad in front of me and say, do it on here. I would probably be like, what? So I definitely believe in a foundation, at least in technical ability, to be able to pull a micron line or to be able to blend watercolors. I believe you need that organics to physically do it before putting it in digital form, at least in my opinion. That way, if you're going to try to translate it into skin or a canvas or whatever it is, you have that capability because you've done it organically. So, but I love it as a convenience factor for me. I can sell an iPad to any tattooer. I'm like, yeah, dude, you have the symmetry tool. You could do this, this, and this, and all the brush sets that you guys were going through from Tattoo Smart. It's incredible what you can pull off on digital now, especially for our job. But I don't feel that you'll get 100% of what you need to learn how to draw, if you know what I mean. I mean, the information's out there, which is great. We didn't have that when I was learning.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
but
you're. I think you're spot on with what you said about convenience, and it's also it's convenient and it allows you to do a lot of things. But just like Gordon Ramsay cooking, if it's your the only thing that you have in your diet, then you're going to miss out on a lot of extra things. Whereas if you pick up a paintbrush or a pen or a piece of charcoal or wood carving or even a spray can or anything like that, no matter what you add to the basics, which the basic might be drawing, then it might be painting, who knows? But whatever you add to that is going to inform your practice, and it is going to make you a more rounded artist. And if that can then be transferred into your tattoo, then that's what you're aiming for, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So it is now 10 after 10. I don't know how long people want to go on for, but now might be a good time to either give it a run around with everybody to let us know how you can find you, or if you want to go on for another 20 minutes, then
Sure.
we could do that. And I'll just, I won't be driving for 10 of them.
For 10 of them, yeah, I'm good to go, man. Yeah. I really enjoy these.
Okay, so let's say we go on until 10:30, and I'm going to join in on my phone so I can be a little bit mobile. And like I said, I won't be able to go surfing, but I'll definitely be tuned in to help with any sort of technical issues.
Sweet. Remember when we used to lug around all of our tracing paper and microns and all of our tools and stuff, and now everything is here, right here, all you need. And I never thought I would be at a point in my career where I'm like, damn, I have to wait for my pencil to charge. I'll be back.
Yeah, I'm still one of those guys. I still drag everything around with me on top of my iPad as well. I'm like, and of course I never reach for it or anything, but just to chime in on everything, I look at it like keeping a calendar, right? So, you have your paper appointment books and all that stuff, and everyone knows how to schedule and everyone knows how to keep track of a calendar, and you put this time in the time slot and everything, right? And people know how to do that using a pen in a calendar book, right?
Right.
Well, the same thing applies with using the iPad. So on the iPad, you have your calendar. You can very easily just input things right then, right there, with all of the information and contact info and dates, times, whatever. Deposit, how did they reach out to you, all of the session notes. You can put that all right there in your calendar, just like you would if you were writing on, say a calendar block for an actual paper appointment pad. So I kind of equate the two together as far as that's concerned. Yeah, it feels a little bit different. Yes, it takes some getting used to, but it's the same base concept. You can do it if you can do it on paper, you can do it digitally, but you're still doing the same thing.
Right. There was definitely a small learning curve for me when I first picked it up, I was like, oh man, this is a little harder than I thought it was. But getting that matte screen protector really changed everything because it felt like it was ice skating. When you were drawing a line, it was like running. But that paper matte, I have the same one that you do. It's like the screen protector that feels like a matte paper. Has been tremendous for me to kind of have a bit of a grip on it, you know, and that it feels a little more like paper, feels a little more natural. Because I did not like it without it for sure. I was like, no way, this is not going to work for me if I have to do it like this. And everyone's like, well, get the matte screen protector. I was like, oh, okay, well, that makes sense.
Yeah, it was a game changer for me.
Yeah.
And I didn't get the expensive one or anything like that. I literally found the cheapest one on Amazon
Yeah, I think it was
that
like
I
12.
possibly could.
Yeah, me too.
I think $6.
Yeah.
And it works like a charm. I've been using it every single day for years. The only thing that I did notice about it is that it does wear down your pencil tip every now and then.
It
But you can
does.
get a 4-pack of replacement tips for $11.
Yeah, on Amazon. Easy peasy.
You know, and if it makes it that much easier to translate and transition from, say, traditional to digital, then why wouldn't you do that?
Right.
Yeah, it's you know, I think the digital revolution in tattooing is good. I kind of saw that coming years ago. I think it's a great thing that we're really starting to look at what's capable of being done with digital media. At the same time, I think it's also taking away a little bit from, you know, the more traditional media and the more traditional aspects behind tattooing. Think of hand painted flash, right?
Oh,
How many people do you know that are still hand painting flash?
like 15, maybe total ever. It's not very many.
Which I think is actually a few more than me.
Yeah.
A few more than what I know. You know, it's amazing just to see how things are working and, you know, how it's really having an impact on the industry itself.
Mm-hmm.
Is my
One
video
of
still
my
going, by the
favorite,
way, or did I freeze?
Oh, looks like you froze actually to me.
Did you freeze, Jason?
Probably.
Yeah, one of the I had an
there we
apprentice once at the shop tell me that you know, because it was digital, there's no soul in it. And I was like, well, now, of course, there's definitely some, as everyone's saying, you know, there's definitely something that can get lost in the medium. But you know, for me, I just showed him Spectrum magazine. I don't even know if he got it, but I was like, check out like the digital section of the best of what people are doing. And yeah, like you could do some pretty fucking amazing things that have a lot of soul and a lot of spirit, you know, digitally. Just like you could do a lot of shit, you know, with regular tools, you know. So it's really all obviously. I mean, you know, what does the artist have to say, and what's their visual, you know, technical abilities to translate that to, you know, the tools are all kind of like, well, as you were saying earlier, the tools. But to this point, there was another question in the chat room. It was about somebody making a transition from drawing, like with pen and paper, into the digital, and they just can't quite get the same effects. You know, for instance, I think they were, I'm doing this one from memory, but I believe they were working on portraits, like working on a realistic portrait and just trying to figure out how to get these damn tools to do what, you know, what they have in their head. And they were wondering if it was just them. So
no. I think you have to play with the brush settings, honestly, kind of like what Jason was doing earlier, because some of the brushes come a certain way. And then I was messing with the stipple brush because I didn't like how speckly it was. I wanted my dots a lot tighter than the stipple brush. I'd turn the spacing down. So sometimes you just kind of have to go in and play with the settings and do a line or two and say, nope, not like that. And then turn the opacity up. Okay, I like it a little bit more there, and just kind of mess with the brush settings. But Procreate has tons of really great videos on YouTube, and I think through their website or their user manual, that's a little helpful. But I have a hard time too, even with that I can't seem to find an exact brush that I love for everything. But, you know, I'm also doing the most basic things. I'm doing a sketch and then a line work drawing. So I just need a sketchy pencil and a tech pen. I don't do anything real fancy. The brush set that I'm using right now is Battle Damage. I love all of the ones that they have in there because they look really organic. they have all these different sketch pencils and everything, and they have really nice tapers on them, and they have a little bit of kind of grainy grit to them, so they look a little more natural to me. I like the this sounds so this is a funny name, Sketch Daddy and Good Grain Pencil. I feel like those are the closest ones to that I have found to use for shading and getting good tones in it, because it feels very responsive to my pressure, kind of like a real pencil does. So it is kind of just finding specific pencils, and it really was a learning curve. I don't think I really got a whole hang of the iPad for probably a full year before I felt like, okay, I understand this now.
Yeah, incidentally, Dave Tevenow is the guy that created the battle damage set. And it just sitting down and playing with that after that got released was incredible. Because if you, I'm pretty sure if you bought that set, he actually includes a digital work of art where you can peel back the layers like an onion to see how he used what he used and to see how he put it together and the different effects that you can get with different things. You know, once again, kind of circling back to what we first started discussing as far as, you know, looking at sketches and rough drafts of different artwork from different artists, as opposed to looking at a finished line drawing or a finished work of art or a, you know, a finished tattoo. You know, it's looking at their sketches, looking at their process. How did they create said shape or said movement? You know, what was going on in their mind as they're sitting down and say doodling a whole bunch of different swirly circles? You know, what are they trying to create and how is that going to translate into the final product? You know, I think that's got, it's mind blowing just to look at people's processes.
Agreed.
Yeah, I find that what's it called? The process, the working through an idea. I find that a lot easier with pencil. You know, sort of not fussed about throwing away a small piece of paper or whatever. I think maybe because there is potential with an iPad or similar to polish it, if you like, to such an extent that because that potential exists, I sort of end up doing it. Yeah, and you know, it's something that I don't always do with pen and pencil, because let's face it, the rubber is that much better on an iPad. You know,
No, I would agree. It does give you a lot of other opportunities, and you know, it's definitely something that I think is going to end up being more and more influential as the years go on. You know, but I still prefer to work analog as often as I can.
Yeah.
It's a skill that I don't ever want to lose, and it's a skill that I personally have found to be invaluable. It's when you sit down and you look at, you know, someone's original watercolor painting or an original pencil rendering, you know, from whenever in a museum, that wasn't digital. That was created by a human hand, and the muscle control and the pressure control and all of that stuff was left up to their natural movements and the way that they've trained their body to remember those individual, like, muscle memory movements. You know, they probably spend a good amount of time just learning what the appropriate way to hold that pencil was. You know, nowadays you can hold your pencil straight up and down on an iPad and you can set it to have a 45-degree tilt.
Yeah.
You know, if you were, you know, it's the difference between holding your pencil like this, you know, all the way back at the end and working right off the tip and all that stuff, or, you know, holding it like we're all doing right now, you know, almost at a 45-degree angle and, you know, drawing that way. So it's a very big difference but it's something that I don't know if a lot of people will take that into consideration. It's just a different way to think and do things. Then again, once again, that's my 2 cents. You know, sometimes that's only worth, you know, maybe 2 cents. Maybe it's only worth 1 cent.
1 cent.
My 2 cents is really only worth 1. So, you know, take what I say with, you know, a grain of pepper or whatever that expression is.
That's so cute.
I've you know, learning is something that I never ever can see myself stopping, just because I still feel like I've got so much more to learn, you know, and there's so much more to learn about everything in life. You know, learn something new every day. You know, if I could give anyone advice for anything, it's when in doubt, just learn something new every day and see every event in your life as a learning experience. Why do I feel like that was a Sesame Street kind of message there? Today was brought to you by the letter Q and the number 4.
By the number 4.
One more? No, I don't. Not balanced.
Okay, we've got one more question in here from Darren. Do you ever get to a point like in like this lockdown, struggling to get the drive to? Okay, sorry, hold on.
Yeah, I need this to come try up.
Okay. So do you guys ever get to the point, like in this lockdown, struggling to get the drive to, let's say, start drawing or get old practice mates, etc., to keep your love for tattooing going? What do you do to give you that push to get started?
You mean besides cocaine?
Besides cooking.
That was a joke, by the way. Not me, it's all about momentum. I know once I get out of bed in the morning, I know what needs to be done, and there's nothing that's going to stop me. My biggest struggle, and this is something that I face literally every day, is just getting out of bed. And for me, maybe that's more of like a me thing, and the fact that, you know, I eat a lot of junk food and I drink a ton of coffee and I'm up until 4 o'clock in the morning every night. You know, you never really quite know what personal factors may be involved in that. But for me, I know it's once I can get up and get moving, I'm fine. You know, whether that's okay, cool. I made my breakfast, I have my coffee, I'm joining the drawing session, and then after this, you know, I'm gonna start working on maybe one of the other drawings that I've been working on for a few weeks. And I'm gonna turn that into a painting. You know, and start working on the process to get that done. You know, is it hard to find the inspiration? Absolutely. But to me, it all starts with sitting down and just saying, okay, this is what I'm going to do. You know, this is my inspiration. This is something that I have to do. Or maybe you see something where you're like, oh man, that's cool. That's a good idea. Let me see if I can do that. You know, that's, if anyone can really see the 2 paintings behind me, you know, I painted those several years ago, and that was all because I sat down and I was reading Guy's book, and I said, okay, let me give this a shot. Let me just see how it goes, and let me just see what I can come up with. Let me just try what he's talking about to create a sense of light, as far as like, you know, your centered light source, you know, backlight something, or okay, let's play with color in this. You know, I always try to pick one thing to either learn or try in every painting I do, or anything I draw. It's like, okay, what am I going to work on with this snake? What am I really going to try to portray? And, so I really try to focus on that one individual element. Maybe it'll work. Maybe it won't. If it doesn't, as you can tell, you just hide the layer. These are all not necessarily failed concepts, but just rough ideas that I probably won't end up using because I'm trying to portray a certain thing. So for me, it's kind of like, I call it chasing the dragon. I'm always trying to find that perfect composition, that perfect, balanced subject matter. I'm trying to find the perfect depiction of what I have in my head. So I'm constantly just trying to get better and improve what I'm currently doing. And to me, that all starts with just finding some inspiration, watching a YouTube video on someone working with watercolor and how they paint a watercolor portrait, mind-blowing stuff. Watching the guys that do one-stroke dragon paintings. I don't know if you've ever seen those or not. Those are
Insane.
like mind expanding on how they can literally take one brush, they'll dip it into paint, and in one continuous brush stroke, paint an entire dragon. It's absolutely incredible, and it's like, okay, I definitely can't do that, but maybe I should start working on my dragons some more, maybe that's an area I feel I need to improve in. If you have a specific subject matter that you find challenging, draw it all the time. The more you draw it and the more you work on it, the better you will be at it. And you'll notice a direct translation from what you're drawing that you're really not that good at and how you're improving in that. And you'll start to see a translation into all of the other stuff that you enjoy drawing. But it all starts with maybe doing some self-reflection, sitting down and taking a minute to say, okay, I really like the way that I do these. Maybe I need to start working on this a little bit more. Maybe my snakes are really good and I've drawn like 12 million different snakes and I've painted a whole bunch of different snakes, but I haven't really done too many chrysanthemums. So let me sit down and really start working on that to really get better at doing that.
So, Casey, do you have any
Yeah.
answers to how to be inspired despite the lockdowns and the depression?
So, well, luckily, at least in Maryland, we're not totally shut down. But during quarantine, I definitely struggled really hard, especially with the uncertainty of going back to work. My biggest motivation was making money, number one, because we depend on my income mostly. So I was like, well, I got to draw to make money. So I need to make shirts. I need to make stickers. I need to make prints because things were still at least manufacturing. So I said, I got to get up today and draw a t-shirt design. I got to get up and draw a sticker design or something so that I can sell on my website. And I invested into the website and everything. So money was my biggest motivator, at least during lockdown. Secondly, though, when I'm not feeling it, where I'm like, I don't even know what I would draw right now. I just don't feel like drawing. I'm a big reader. I love reading in general, but I have a ton of art books, tattoo books. So even if I'm not physically drawing, I'm still sitting down and just reading about art or reading about techniques or something. And there goes my inspiration. It just goes right from there. So if I'm just not feeling it, sometimes I just sit down and read instead because it's something else I enjoy doing. But if I read an art history text, I have tons of textbooks. I have like tons of art history textbooks, but I do have books on tattooing and just in general, really cool art books. I have a really neat, like Leonardo da Vinci book that has all his really, really early sketches in it that are all translated in Italian. It's super cool. So I try to pick up books that I know that I'd be interested in, even if I just dabble into a few pages or so, the juices start flowing. You're seeing images, you're seeing, people talk about the artwork and how they did it or what their process was. And now you're like, well, I want to try it. So even if it's a master study where I take something from Bernini and I'm like, I'm going to draw Bernini's portrait of David, ready, set, go. And just trying to even mimic something that they did gets me at least on the paper or gets me on the iPad. And I'm like, wow, I tried that. So now I want to put that into some sort of tattoo design or what I just learned or what I just tried out. I want to put into a design. So then I come into a snowball effect of trying out different things. So sometimes I know not everyone's a reader, but that's sometimes my bigger inspiration, I would say, if I can't physically get up and say, okay, I'm going to draw something, ready, set, go. I kind of read, or, even on the Instagram, like, what is it called? Instagram. Just going through the Explorer and saving different pictures of things that I like and seeing what other people are doing. I kind of am studying their techniques or what they tried. And I'm like, oh, that little thing that they did there is super, super cool. Maybe I could put that into something. And so it's visual cues for me, honestly. So seeing artwork and learning about artwork and reading about artwork, or I don't know what it is, but the old Tattoo Nation movie, love it. I don't know why. So whenever I'm feeling a funk, I watch those. I watch the Ed Hardy one. I watch the Tattoo Nation. I don't know what it is about them, but they just get me falling back in love again with tattooing every time, So
Have you watched Hori Smoku, the Sailor
No.
Jerry story?
I'm going to write that one down, though.
Oh, yeah, you'll love it. It's Hori Smoku, Horismoku. And I think it's owned by the liquor company, maybe. But the guy that made it with love. It's an amazing, like a 70, 80-minute, right in line with what you were just talking about. It's full on Sailor Jerry, and you get them, warts and all. It's fun. It's amazing.
Yes. But
I also posted up a Philadelphia Eddie's interview podcast up on the feed in the Reinventing app. Philadelphia Eddie is obviously another amazing piece of history that's inspiring.
Yeah, absolutely. So whenever it is for me, even if I can't physically say, okay, I'm going to do something and draw, I feel like I'm still learning or gaining knowledge just from reading, YouTube, Instagram. So even if you just try not to beat yourself up about it, like, oh, I didn't draw today, but I did look at X, Y, and Z and took notes on this or that, so I still feel like you're drawing mentally, even if you're not physically doing it. Cause I think we put a lot of emphasis on completing something is the ultimate goal, the ultimate task. And it doesn't always have to be this big, beautiful finished product. Sometimes one of my bigger snowball effects comes from just really messy sketches. They're really ugly and I'll never show anyone, but it was all these learning moments or some sort of curve that I finally got to, a light bulb moment. So even if it's not a big, beautiful finished thing, just kind of pulling from other people, that's where inspiration comes from. It's like the actual word probably means pulling from here and there. So I like reading. I'm a reader and a movie watcher. So, and
you mentioned I was going to say, you mentioned the Tattoo Nation movie.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely awesome. There's another one that I watch, and I actually had it on repeat for a while. It's called Making It. Yeah, it's a documentary. It was put out in 2015. It's like an hour and a half long, but it chronicles what does it mean to really make it as an artist.
Okay.
How do you define that? Is it who's got the most money, who has the most sales, who's got the most notoriety? It's how do you stay creative? What's your process like? And how do you know when you've made it? And to me, watching that is just,
I like that.
Philosophical.
It's awesome. I like it. To me, I feel like I never made it, because then I'll just want to keep learning, I haven't made it yet. So that's what I think on my way home of every day from tattooing. I was like, I was one step closer to how I wanted that to look. One step closer to perfect. But it's never going to be there, which is the good thing. You want to keep that mentality as long as physically possible, that you're like close, but no cigar, almost.
Could not agree more. As one of my favorite, tattoo inspirational quotes goes, if you don't go home at the end of the day from doing a tattoo and have just a little bit of self-loathing, where you sit back and you just say, I could have done that part so much better, that could have been better, that could have been better. If you don't have that, you're doing something wrong.
Right. No, I'm like proud of myself for about 2 things and then mad at myself for about 10 things. Right. And I'm like, that worked out. I'm so glad that helped. Make a mental note. And, oh, that came out exactly like I wanted. But that and that and that and that and that and that. I'm like, not where I wanted it. But, taking notes, do it again tomorrow, And it's striving for perfection, and I know it's never going to be perfect. There is probably no such thing as a perfect tattoo, but we can try.
Yeah. Well, and it's a constant learning experience, and that I think, once again, just to circle back, I think it all comes down to, what did you learn?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What can you take away from it?
Yep. Because I try to tell myself every time I sit down to tattoo, I'm like, I want to try something slightly different, because my work is very seamlessly predictable. Like, what you're getting when you're getting a Casey Hart tattoo. You know what it's going to look like. But every single time I sit down, I'm like, all right, I'm going to try this instead today. I'm going to try this needle size today, or I'm going to do a gray wash instead of black, and, experiment a little. But they don't know, they're just getting a cool tattoo. But I'm trying something new on every single person. And I think that's where you elevate each time. Because if you look at my work a year ago versus now, 6 months ago versus now, even 2 months ago versus now, if someone knows what to look for, they'll see differences and progress, hopefully. At least I'm trying. So that in a few years, you give me a few more years, it could look completely different, because I'm changing something a little bit each time, just making an adjustment here and there, or, trying something out and seeing how it works and what you'll do next time.
Yeah, it's the scientific method. You're controlling your variables,
Mm-hmm.
And through the elimination of various things and elements, you're going to find something that really, really, really works well and achieves exactly what you were hoping it would achieve, and but there's no one that's going to sit down and say, oh, no, 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 for that tattoo, you're going to definitely need to use this, and this, because every tattoo is different and every person that you tattoo is different. So there's always going to be something a little bit different with every tattoo that you do,
Yep.
So, I mean, that's just kind of the way that I equate things.
Cool. Okay, so we are now at 10:40. I think it's probably a good time to do the cycle through. And if anybody has comments or whatever that we haven't gotten to, we do this every Monday at 9 in the morning. We do it every Sunday at 1 in the afternoon. And if you get into the app and request other days and times for drawing groups like this, we're happy to oblige when we can. So let's see here. Who should go first?
I vote Jason.
I always go first. Actually, I think I went last yesterday, but
Yeah.
so for those that don't know me, my name is Jason Leeser. I'm a tattooer in suburban Philadelphia, about 30 to 45 minutes north of Philadelphia. I work at a studio called the Inkwell Tattoo in Southampton, PA. I've been tattooing for about 10 years, and I've been researching it for about 20. I wanted to know what I was getting into before I started really getting into tattooing. But yeah, I'm always open to answer questions. If anyone ever has any questions, feel free to reach out to me on Instagram. My Instagram is Philly Inc. It's all one word. I'm sure you can see it right there on the screen. Yeah, feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions, comments, concerns, ideas. If there's something specific you want to see in a drawing group, reach out. Let me know. I'll be happy to address it. If anyone wants to get in touch just to say hi or pick my brain about Procreate or art or drawing or anything, I'm a pretty open person. I'm not too shy. Obviously, I've been talking a lot this whole time, so I'll probably chat your ear off. Be forewarned. But yeah.
Sweet. Cool. Now, Patrick or Melissa, one of you has to unmute yourselves, and then the other will.
Hi everyone, I'm Melissa. You can find me on Instagram, MAC_MISSA. I'm located in Staten, Oregon. Sorry, it's morning. I'm still tired. Coffee's not strong enough. I do all sorts of different styles. As you can see, I'm working Polynesian at the moment with a mashup of Cherokee, but I also do all sorts of stuff. You'll see that on my Instagram. Yeah, so that's me. Morning, guys.
Okay, Patrick. Can you click it? Well, how about Casey? You want to give us
What?
your
Yeah.
closing statements? I guess it's not quite, we're not there.
Don't
Let's see here.
Casey.
Okay.
And I live in basically Baltimore. We're about 30 minutes south of Baltimore in a studio called Diamond Dagger Tattoo. Been tattooing probably about 8 years now. I specialize in like floral, mandala, ornamental dot work kind of style, I guess. And here's my little sketch of the morning, if I can show you guys. My little morning bird, I'll say. But I do this kind of stippling type style and everything. But I'll show you the one from yesterday too that has a little bit more of the stipple factor. So this was the stipple brush on Procreate that I kind of messed with yesterday and just tried to smooth it out. So these are all really, really, really tiny dots, believe it or not. But yeah, feel free to reach out to me on Instagram. My Instagram handle is ARTXHART tattoos. You can also kind of Google Casey Hart Tattoos. My website comes up and it has my Instagram on there because it's a bit complicated of a handle. But this is actually my second time in here and I'm really excited because I'm ordering all kinds of equipment to come in so I can get all fancy like Jason and you guys. But it's a lot of fun and it's super motivating to just kind of talk to artists and be in front of artists and answer questions and stuff. But yeah, feel free to email, reach out, whatever. Exciting things.
Sweet. Thank you very much for joining and for getting that equipment. And speaking of fighting the equipment, Patrick, any luck?
No. We love you.
Aha! There you go. I got it.
There we
Thank you, Scott.
go.
Hey.
Yeah. Patrick Boothman. I think that's all one word. Instagram at Patrick Boothman. Hand poke and machine artist in West Wales, UK. Yeah. Thanks very much.
I'm gonna follow
Okay.
you. I'm gonna go do it.
Okay, so
That'd be
I'm
awesome.
going to start my video and I'm going to do a screen share. And if people made it this far, I'm going to give a quick walkthrough of the app so that, if people are, again, if they're making it this far, then it's probably a good chance that they might want to check out the Reinventing app that we're doing this through. If you go to community.reinventingthetattoo.com, then you can log in via the website. You could also download the app at either the Apple Store or the Google Play Store. And, we've been talking about a lot of the events and a lot of these live shows that are happening where you could join in. A lot of them are care of our sponsors. Some of them there's a reasonable fee for. I'm just going to kind of bring us down to the library section here because as we've been talking about a lot of videos and whatnot, there is a whole art history section in here where we get to post up some of our favorite artists, Caravaggio, Salvador, Brakansky. My pronunciation's horrible. Anyways, we're adding a couple people a week to this, or a couple people a month. But really, the treasure is right here in the video section, and we have all of these shows that we've been doing, all of the replays. You'll see here is the Reinventing Drawing Group, and we could probably get some crazy shit going on if we look into our drawing groups and see all of the other drawing groups. This one is number 9. I guess it would be doing an Inception thing. I don't want to break anything, but this will be interesting. We're now looking at this. So point being is, if you download the app and check it out, then go to the library section. There's hours and hours and hours of inspiration. It's pretty crazy. All of these replays are available pretty much right after we're done. And this one's, let me keep sharing real quick because I'll plug Inkjet Stencils. And if you check out their section here, you see, not obviously, but you'll see what they have set up is a printer section or printer setup so that it will print out stencils right from a printer. And I believe they're eco-friendly printers. You can basically refill the ink up so you're not like wasting all the cartridges. And check out Andre Malcolm's videos, inkjetstencils.com. And if anybody's interested in sponsoring or contributing a show or whatever, but just download the app, shoot Gabe or Guy a DM on it, and we love doing this stuff. We're very thankful for everybody to be joining and participating, and are excited to keep doing this. So, last plug: subscribe to Reinventing. It's $2.99 a year, and guys working on the courses all the time. There's a big editing happening as we speak, because we're moving it over into, again, some new awesome online course platform. So anyways, that's what helps make it happen, and we will catch up with everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. A lot of fun.
Absolutely. And then what's the next thing that the next thing is tonight at 9:00 is Guy's exercise, and I forgot exactly what it was, but it's always awesome. And we'll catch up then. And then tomorrow, Tuesday, well, like I said, I'll look at the schedule. You can look at the schedule. We're doing all sorts of great stuff this week. Oh, tomorrow's Tattoo Machine with Tony Urbanik, 10:00 in the morning. And the first one's free, but if you like it, we've got 7 more on the way for a modest fee. So we'll catch up with everybody then.
Awesome.
Okay,
Thanks,
I'm
Gabe.
clicking.
Great. Thanks.
Thank
Gabe.
you.